Look at the changes that happened on this little island in just 10 years. Here's a map of that very island. We're right here. That is here. Oops. This is probably better. Right here, this is us here. See, this is 2013. It's 2023 now, 10 years. And look at the differences. We're looking at all these places. These are all salt marshes. On all sides, it's grass-dominated salt marsh. What do you see there now? Just mangroves.
Up until 84 and 85, you would have major freezes, and it would keep the mangroves knocked back. So the last good freeze that we had that killed the mangroves was 84 and 85. So we haven't had anything since then, and you can see how everything's come up.
This is a black mangrove. It's supporting biodiversity, sucking up carbon from the atmosphere, but there's a problem with these.
When you don't have the freezes to knock them back, they come in and they shade out everything underneath. And so now you don't have your grasses underneath there, spartina, and that's better soil holding than the mangroves. So what happens is when you do have a big freeze, it kills the mangroves. So now you got exposed soil or beach. And the same thing with a hurricane. And so when that happens, the mangroves leave and takes the root system with them, then it's just exposed to the environment.
And you know what this is? This is the salt marsh grass. That is the ecosystem that used to be here. That's what used to prevent storms from washing away the soil. And now they're being shadowed by the mangroves. These are the remnants of the ecosystem that should be here. So the mangroves are kicking away the grass, and they're not holding up the soil as well as the grass. So in other words, the mangroves, by competing with the native ecosystem, are promoting beach erosion.
Now, in the past 5 years, you have the red mangroves that's just been slowly moving up. This used to be the northern range. You'd have a few a little bit north of us, but now, you know, they're just moving right on up.
And this one is the red mangrove, and that has migrated up from the south. That's the one with the long red roots holding up in the water, in the mud. This is the seed of the red mangrove. This is what hangs on a tree and it falls into the sea. And then it goes like that on the waves. And then when it hits mud or sand, it keeps like banging around. And then when it lodges in and sets a root down, and that's how a new red mangrove comes up. And that is how they can traverse vast distances on the world's oceans. In just 10 years, these mangroves have completely overgrown what used to be salt marshes. Big changes in 10 years. So there is this widespread notion that trees are great no matter where they are. That's not entirely true. We need to be more careful about that. In some places, trees are not welcome. Don't get me wrong, mangroves are really important trees. South Florida and everywhere in the tropics, they're really essential for coastal ecology, the integrity of the coast. Not quite up here, though. It's our climate change that's pushing them up to these latitudes. It's climate change that's turning mangroves into villains in these places.